Right now on Good Morning America First Look, millions across the Northeast digging out after the historic blizzard with more snow on the way.
Primetime political showdown. President Trump set to deliver his State of the Union as market slide and court battles loom, with Iran and tariffs in the spotlight.
President Trump responding for the first time about the deadly shooting at Mar-a-Lago, acknowledging the dangers he faces.
Got a lot of people gunning for me, don't I? Huh?
And praising the agents who stopped the threat.
ABC News obtains texts linking Tony Gonzalez to an alleged affair. The Texas congressman now under formal scrutiny and pressure growing on Capitol Hill.
The mother and grief author on trial, accused of killing her husband. The body cam footage played for the jury as opening statements set the stage.
Plus, Lindsay Vonn sharing new details about the injury that almost cost her her leg.
And the milestone at an early age. A 13-year-old driver makes a big move, committing to a NASCAR career.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America First Look.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sophie Flay. Thanks for joining us on Good Morning America First Look.
And I'm Hannah Batal. We begin with the snowy aftermath of that record-setting blizzard.
Boston got so much snow, the city's public schools are closed for a second straight day. The airport outside Providence, Rhode Island, about 38 inches of snow, beating the previous record by almost a foot.
Yeah, it'll be days before the region's power outages and air travel issues are all sorted out. Overnight, the historic blizzard that paralyzed the Northeast finally winding down, but not before leaving behind massive snow totals and creating dangerous conditions across the region. The so-called bomb cyclone, dumping more than 3 feet of snow in parts of Rhode Island, setting a new record.
The blizzard of 26 has now officially surpassed the blizzard of 78 for the most snow ever recorded in a single snowstorm in our Rhode Island state history.
Over 30 inches falling throughout hard-hit Massachusetts. More than 250,000 customers in the state still without power. Officials say it could be days before electricity is restored. In New Jersey, trees crashing down onto utility lines, leaving many residents there in the dark.
For me, it was like you either got to get our power on or plow, because we don't want to sleep here tonight.
In New York City, trees buckling under the weight of heavy snow. On Long Island, winds topping 80 miles per hour, creating whiteout conditions, making driving treacherous. Outside Boston, cars sliding down roads, others stuck along the highway. Even plow trucks struggled. At times, conditions were so severe, authorities had to pause cleanup operations. The storm also bringing air travel to a halt, snow burying runways and grounding thousands of flights. Airlines warning it could take days to fully recover.
You can't see anything because I can't see anything. It is a total whiteout. Right now, no planes are taking off or landing.
Transit systems across the region are slowly coming back online, with crews working to clear tracks and restore limited service. Now, as residents begin digging out, some are taking advantage of the snow-covered streets. One man in Rhode Island strapped on his snowboard to go riding through the neighborhood. Definitely making the most of it, and more snow is expected across the region tonight and later this week, but temperatures should remain above freezing, which will help melt all of that snow. We'll check the full forecast coming up.
In Mexico, officials say a love interest led them to the hideout of drug lord known as El Mencho. He was killed after being tracked down by government forces Sunday. Mexico's defense secretary says they found him by following his mistress to a hidden cabin. Meanwhile, the cartel-led violence following El Mencho's death has left American tourists stranded. Some flights have started leaving the airports in Guadalajara and Puerto Vallarta.
President Trump appeared to reflect on his own mortality as he discussed the armed man shot and killed at his Palm Beach residence. President making his first public comments on the weekend incident during a White House event Monday. He talked about being a target after 2 assassination attempts in 2024.
I don't know how long I'll be around. Got a lot of people gunning for me, don't I? Huh? You read about all these crazy shooters, but they only go after consequential presidents. They don't go after non-consequential presidents.
The president and first lady were at the White House at the time of Saturday's incident at Mar-a-Lago.
President Trump is set to deliver a State of the Union address tonight with major political and national security stakes, from a Supreme Court showdown over tariffs to rising tensions with Iran. A lot is on the line. Nicole D'Antonio is live in Washington with the details. Nicole, good morning.
Sophie, good morning. The president will make his case to the country and to the voters who will decide the balance of power this fall.
This morning, President Trump preparing to deliver his State of the Union address, framed less as a look back and more as a midterm message. With control of Congress on the line in the midterm elections, the president is expected to tout what he calls economic strength, even as markets tumbled Monday, amid fresh uncertainty over trade and tariffs. On Friday, the Supreme Court struck down tariffs the president had imposed on nearly every country using an emergency powers law. But Trump says he still wants to pursue a global tariff of 15%, arguing it would protect American industry. Now, FedEx has filed suit, joining a growing list of companies asking the federal government to repay tariffs they say were collected before the court's ruling.
The Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing.
Now the president will face some of those very justices in person tonight, as members of the Supreme Court traditionally sit just feet away during the State of the Union.
I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country.
Foreign policy could dominate the night, especially Iran. In recent days, the president has said he's considering a limited strike amid a major U.S. military buildup in the region.
Almost half of the deployable air power of the whole United States military is now in the region. This is the biggest buildup in over 20 years. So it's more than just a negotiating ploy.
The president is also pushing back on reports that Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Kane warned against a strike. Trump called those reports 100% incorrect, saying Kane would prefer peace, but if ordered, would know how to win. The White House insists the president wants a deal, but warns Iran it could be a very bad day if one is not reached.
And officials say Secretary of State Marco Rubio will brief the Congressional Gang of Eight on Iran tomorrow afternoon. That closed-door session comes just hours before President Trump delivers his State of the Union address. Sophie.
Nicole, thank you. Our powerhouse political team will have full coverage of tonight's address starting at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Overseas, the former British ambassador to the U.S. has been released from custody. Peter Mandelson was arrested yesterday on suspicion of misconduct in public office for allegedly passing UK government information to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Mandelson is not facing allegations of sexual misconduct. The former Prince Andrew was arrested last week and faces the same allegations as Mandelson. Text messages provided to ABC News appear to show Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez pursuing a relationship with a female staffer more than a year before she died by suicide. The messages from May 2024 show Gonzalez, a married father of 6, requesting explicit photos and discussing sexual topics. ABC News has confirmed Gonzalez has been under investigation by the Office of Congressional Conduct and is expected to forward a report to the House Ethics Committee after his upcoming primary. The Gonzalez campaign has not responded to requests for comment on those text messages, though he has repeatedly denied engaging in an affair with the aide. Some Republican lawmakers are now calling on him to resign. House Speaker Mike Johnson says investigations should be allowed to play out.
Now the latest in the search for Nancy Guthrie. Sources say the masked man seen on her doorbell camera may have been at her front door days before police say she was abducted.
This morning, sources familiar with the investigation telling ABC News that this masked man suspected of abducting the grandmother did not strike at random. He had scouted her home before the night she was taken. Look closely at these images released by the FBI earlier this month. Sources now say this image, showing the suspect without a backpack, was captured on Guthrie's Nest camera prior to her February 1st abduction. The Pima County Sheriff pushing back, saying that theory did not come from his office, and that absence of timestamps means that theory is purely speculative. Investigators believe the suspect might have approached the door on a previous night, noticed the camera, and was scared off. He then returned later, this time seen with a flashlight in his mouth, tampering with the camera and using branches to conceal the lens before forcing his way in, leaving behind drops of Guthrie's blood on the front porch.
The fact that there was preparation and planning, which makes it more of a sophisticated type of criminal activity than someone just showing up.
That gap in time reveals why detectives are now urgently asking neighbors to comb through their own security footage, going all the way back to January 1st, a full month before Guthrie vanished. And as investigators chase down this new timeline today, the boots on the ground are not letting up.
We're Tucson people, and we all got to stick together.
Volunteers spent the weekend scouring the rugged brush around the property, determined to find any trace of Nancy Guthrie, but investigators asking them to let professionals do the job. Meanwhile, a growing memorial outside Nancy Guthrie's home as well-wishers show support and solidarity with the Guthrie family.
Just keep positive, keep your chin up, and let's believe and let's create the energy to make this happen, make her come back safe.
So far, no suspect has been identified by officials in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance.
Time now for your morning weather.
Good morning. Drier weather for blizzard cleanup, but it's still chilly and brisk. Some blowing snow showers in the lakes. Nice across the southern plains in the southwest. The storm in the Pacific Northwest will ultimately be an issue for the East Coast come Thursday and Friday. Some melting by Wednesday and Thursday in New York and Boston. It's still below freezing today. Watch out for icy spots. A light snow on Wednesday morning can mean some slick spots on the western side of I-95, a light accumulation. And then it's later Thursday and early Friday. There could be a few inches, especially over parts of New Jersey. That's your forecast. I'm ABC News meteorologist Lee Goldberg.
Coming up, Nick Riner in court pleading not guilty to the murders of his parents.
Also ahead, new details in a high-profile murder trial. The mom who wrote a book on grief now accused of causing it as body camera footage is revealed.
And drama on the runway. A man runs onto active airspace, waving at planes and kneeling on the tarmac. What happened next?
Back with dramatic video from Florida's Gulf Coast. Body camera video shows officers in Sarasota rescuing two people from a home engulfed in flames Friday. One of them, a woman with a walker. The officers also had to avoid downed power lines. Two people were injured. Nick Riner, the son of Hollywood legend Rob Reiner, and his wife Michelle, has pleaded not guilty to the murders of his parents. His court appearance in Los Angeles was the first time Nick Riner was seen since his arrest in December. He will be back in court in late April. Prosecutors say they haven't decided yet whether to seek the death penalty against him.
Now to the murder trial of the Utah mother accused of killing her husband, then writing a children's book about grief. Prosecutors say it was all about money. ABC's Lionel Moise has more.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
For the first time, we're seeing dramatic body cam footage in the murder trial of Corey Richens, the Utah mother of three accused of fatally poisoning her husband Eric with fentanyl and then self-publishing a children's book about grief after his death.
My husband's active. He didn't just die in his sleep. This is insane.
Transcripts had been released, but for the first time, a responding deputy's body cam video was played in court.
I just thought he was cold. It was cold in there, so I put the blanket on him. Yeah. But his body just felt like heavy.
Prosecutors allege Corey spiked Eric's cocktail with a lethal dose of fentanyl 2 weeks after they allege she gave him a sandwich laced with fentanyl on Valentine's Day in a failed attempt to kill him, alleging she was in financial distress due to her realty company and was having an affair. Search warrants also allege Richens asked a handyman working on her properties for fentanyl weeks before Eric's death. Detectives say that man, who has since died in a car accident, shared copies of their texts. The document did not mention him obtaining the drugs, only that Richens asked him to. She's accused of securing a $100,000 life insurance policy for Eric weeks before his death with his forged signature. Corey Richens has maintained her innocence, speaking out from jail in an audio recording.
The world hasn't heard the real facts of the case. What I've really done is protect Eric at all costs. What I really didn't do is murder my husband.
An autopsy found Eric Richens died from fentanyl intoxication, the level in his blood nearly 5 times the lethal dosage. The trial is scheduled to last up to 5 weeks. Hannah, Sophie.
Lionel, thanks. Coming up, skier Lindsay Vonn opening up about nearly losing her leg after her Olympic crash.
Also ahead, why Miami Beach is changing its tune after years of cracking down on spring breakers. Back now at the railroad bridge collapse in Nebraska. Officials in Lincoln say it came down after an overnight fire that reignited late yesterday morning. No one was hurt, and the cause of the fire is under investigation. The bridge was used by 2 freight railways. A man is in custody after Phoenix police say he ran onto a runway at the city's main airport. Video from a passenger shows emergency vehicles responding to the scene at Sky Harbor Airport. Authorities say a man was waving his arms at a plane. Police say he was having a mental health episode. It's not known how he got onto the runway.
Winter may be in full swing, but in Miami, it's a countdown to spring break. Now, after years of strict crackdowns on crazy parties, Miami Beach officials are easing restrictions.
Gone are the wild parties and out-of-control crowds of the early 2000s.
This is how MTV does Miami. Check this out.
But this morning, Miami Beach is inviting Americans to hit the sand for spring break in a new ad blitz with a big twist.
Excuse me, sir. There's no drinking in public. Green juice?
The city hoping to swap the boozy beach party with a healthier alternative, promoting a week of wellness with their Break a Sweat campaign. Whether it's yoga and marathons or volleyball and beachside massages, officials are playing up the sober side of spring break.
Why don't you come play with us?
It comes after years of intense crackdowns on partying in the city, after out-of-control crowds during the pandemic created chaos and triggered a state of emergency. Still, this wholesome holiday may actually be more appealing to college students. Alcohol consumption hits its lowest number since Prohibition last year. And with 6 in 10 young adults avoiding drinking regularly, Gen Z has been called Generation Sober, thanks to their sensible approach to drinking.
Miami Beach officials say they will lift the citywide midnight curfew for spring break, but will have extra officers on hand to enforce other restrictions in place.
A wellness spring break. Coming up, Taylor Swift scores another #1 hit.
Plus, the 13-year-old committing to a NASCAR career.
Time to check the pulse. We begin with U.S. skier Lindsay Vonn thanking her surgeon for saving her leg.
In a video posted online, Vonn details the gruesome leg injuries she suffered in her Olympic crash, including several shattered bones and a broken ankle. She says the Team USA surgeon performed surgery to relieve pressure in her leg. Vonn says without it, she faced amputation. She expects her bones to take up to a year to heal. Next, like father, like son in auto racing.
Really runs in the family here. The son of former NASCAR champion Kevin Harvick is following his dad's footsteps. 13-year-old Keelan Harvick has signed a deal with Toyota's driver development team. Keelan has already won several youth races, but he's got a long way to go to catch his dad, who won 63 top-level NASCAR events. Apparently, he won't qualify for the Indy 500 until 2031.
Pretty impressive, though. Next, a new milestone on the horizon for Taylor Swift.
Swift has her 14th #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100. Her song Opalite ties her with Rihanna for 3rd place for the most #1s behind Mariah Carey and the Beatles. The tune was inspired by her fiance Travis Kelce's October birthstone. Finally, time is running short to see one of nature's most spectacular annual events.
It's called the Yosemite firefall, when a seasonal waterfall in the face of El Cap appears to be made of fire. It's actually caused by the setting sun hitting the water just right. The year's best opportunities to see the firefall, and Thursday, you won't want to miss it. Top headlines next. Checking more top stories, President Trump says to expect a long State of the Union address tonight. The president is expected to come face-to-face with members of the Supreme Court who ruled against his tariffs last Friday.
The House holds a vote today on whether planes will have to install new technology to help avoid collisions. Members of the NTSB say it would have prevented last year's tragedy near Washington, D.C.'s Reagan Airport.
Former Home Improvement star Zachary Ty Bryan is going to prison. He was sentenced to 16 months as part of a plea deal for a DUI. Bryan was arrested 2 years ago after a traffic stop.
Actor Robert Carradine, known for Revenge of the Nerds and Lizzie McGuire, has died at 71. His family says he battled bipolar disorder for decades. They're hoping his story helps reduce the stigma around mental illness.
Today's weather, rain and mountain snow in the northwest, snow also around the Great Lakes, mild with critical fire conditions in the southern plains. And finally, the United States has a new hockey golden boy.
Here's Danny New.
USA! USA!
After Team USA galvanized the country Sunday with a gold medal win in Milan,
USA!
the players arrived in Miami on Monday, pushing equipment and hoisting medals. Needless to say, overtime hero Jack Hughes says they haven't gotten much sleep recently.
We had like a 4:30 bus to get on the flight to get here, so happy to be back in the U.S. now, and we're going to enjoy this for a few days.
Hughes in particular has seen his fame skyrocket over the past few weeks. Of course, it doesn't hurt that he heroically scored the gold medal sealing goal after having chunks of his front teeth slashed out by a high stick. Also, that probably does hurt.
I was just disappointed I lost my teeth, but it is what it is now. I'm going to fix these things. I want my good smile back.
In the past few days, the Wall Street Journal has run an opinion piece titled Jack Hughes for President. Experts say the value of his autograph has increased by more than 2,000%, and folks online are even pointing out that his name fittingly appears in Miracle, the film that chronicles the last time the men's team won gold back in 1980.
Is it a cross shot by Hughes? He scores!
Of course, the Florida native was already a star in the NHL, where the former first overall pick has made 3 All-Star teams for the New Jersey Devils. On Monday night, Jack was mostly seen celebrating with his teammates in Miami.
That was amazing. Unbelievable.
The team partied atop a double-decker bus that headed down Ocean Drive as fans cheered them on from the streets.
Like it was 1980 all over again.
And guys, you know Jack's brother Quinn also won a gold medal with Team USA, but let's not forget the youngest, whose brother Luke also plays in the NHL. Maybe all three will play together in 2030.
Yeah, congratulations to the U.S. men's hockey team and women's for bringing home the gold.
Absolutely. That's your Good Morning America first look.
Have a great day, everyone.